Now we're starting. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Appreciate it. If you want, there's a lot of great, very, very high-priced seats up front. Always much more expensive up front if you want to sit. You guys want to come up front just for fun? At least you're honest. Okay. All right, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and move to our first menu item. We're actually on number 3. We have returning from executive session, so we're going to jump to item number 3, which is a moment of silence. Just about 30 seconds. If you'll join me standing up, we'll get the process started, and then we're going to have Riley is going to give us our wonderful Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll start right after the moment of silence.
Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Riley? Most awesome. Copperwood. Right? Is there any school in Peoria School District cooler than Copperwood? No. The answer is no. A clear no, she said. No. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your family being here, too. We appreciate that. All right, let's move on to our next item on the agenda is it's campaign time. Now, every year, the board officers dissolve, and we re-elect board members each year, the president and the clerk. So this is the time that's years and years of campaigning. $1 billion has been spent, and here we are now. So we are electing a president of the board. The administration recommends that we select a president. So the way the process works, we actually have 2 different positions. We have the board president that we will get nominations for and have a formal election amongst the 5 members. Once the president's been chosen, then we'll go to a board clerk. We'll take nominations and vote, and then we move on to the rest of our meeting. So currently we have no board leadership. We're kind of the Wild West right now until about 5 minutes from now. So I will take, since I have the Thor hammer, I will take control here and ask that we call for nominations for president of the board for the 2016 year. Do I have any nominations from my right?
I would like to nominate Mrs. Kathy Knecht for president of the board for 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to nominate yourself, Matt.
Okay. Thank you.
We need a second.
Oh, that's right. We have to do that separately, correct?
We don't. Each separate, correct? First.
I apologize. You're right. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. So we would need a second for Mrs. Doan's nomination of Mrs. Kathy Knecht. Do we have a second?
You need a second.
I will second it for discussion, because I think we should discuss this, you and me.
A discussion. A discussion breaks out. Yes, go ahead.
So I'm assuming that you would like to continue serving as president.
I would accept Mr. Jonigan's nomination. That can't technically be done yet because yours hasn't been seconded.
I seconded it.
Okay. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that you would prefer to stay on as president.
I would accept that, yes.
Okay.
You want to arm wrestle?
No, well, I'll vote no against me then.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
And based on that, I will go ahead and nominate Matthew Bullock
We have
for
to vote
president.
first.
We have to vote.
Vote on me first.
Gosh, $20 didn't work at all, did it? Okay. Yes, all right. All seriousness, we do need to vote on Mrs. Doan because we are all 5 equal members, no matter who's president or clerk. We are all the same. So
Right.
we need to vote on that. So let's go ahead and vote on Mrs. Doan nomination that was seconded by Ms. Knecht for Mrs. Knecht to be president of the board without arm wrestle.
Oh,
It's not on.
electronic.
We're currently waiting for this magical button to pop up on our screen that says yes or no or abstain. Now, once again, this is where I say we need a high school band, one of our amazing bands, to play on hold music, like right over there. They could play while these things, the technical difficulties are happening. Because you'd rather hear the kids play great music than me talk.
Can I put some conditions on it before I vote?
Sure can. How do I know that you're just going to pick on me?
I would never pick on you.
That's right. All right, here we go. The vote is now here. Nominate Mrs. Kathy Connect to serve as president for the 2016 calendar year. Please cast your vote.
Thank you, Judy, that was very nice of you.
Judy, thank
I
you.
thought you deserved a turn. Good.
All right, girl power.
Watch
No
out.
problem. Huh?
Watch out.
I know, I do. I hear about it every night at home. All right, on to our next, the next motion was by Mr. Jonigan.
And again, I would like to nominate Matthew Bullock for president.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Strange, but I'll go with it. Just giving you a hard time. All right, we'll have another motion that Mrs. McCarty is typing up as we speak. Which is interesting. I'm surprised you didn't fight me for it because you get this. No, we like to have fun on the board here, but we take it seriously. We like to support each other as appropriate. All right, item number 2, move to nominate Matt Bullock as serve as president for the 2016 calendar year. Please cast your votes when the button appears. All right, thank you very much. What was your condition? Thank you. Thank you, board members. What is your condition for me being
No.
too late? I will veto you like nobody's business. All right, on to our next item. Elect a clerk of the board. For those who aren't familiar, the clerk of the board, sometimes also considered vice president on other boards, is basically meets with the superintendent and president a couple times a month for agenda setting meetings or agenda planning meetings. The clerk also is responsible for signing a majority of the documents and legal documents as well, representing the board. So a very, very important position as well. So we are now open for nominations to elect a clerk of the board for the 2016 school year. Do we have nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Judy as clerk.
Judy Doan, okay.
Yes.
Do we have a second
Excuse
to
me?
nominate Judy Doan as clerk of the board?
Okay, I'll nominate myself, whatever.
Second yourself.
Second myself.
All right, it's been nominated by Ms. Pangarelli and seconded by Mrs. Doan to have Mrs. Doan be elected to clerk of the board. So we'll stop there so that we can vote on that. Is there a discussion? Any discussion? I should always ask that first. Mr. Morgan? Okay,
I've really enjoyed working with Judy, and I think she'd be a fine clerk, but I too would like to serve as clerk.
okay. Girl arm wrestle. Good. But we'll vote on the first nomination. Ms. Pangarelli's vote gets first preference. So we'll go ahead and, or nomination, I should say, gets first preference. So we'll, yes, Mrs. Doan seconded that nomination. So Ms. Pangarelli, motion, Ms. Doan second, and we'll vote on that now as soon as that's ready. All right, good time to leave Mr. Jonigan. The vote is available.
Waiting on me. Gee, what should I do?
I voted.
I voted.
Did anybody else have votes? Did it all pop up? Okay, that vote does not pass 3-2. Okay, do we have another, we need a majority 3 or more to pass that. Do we have another motion for clerk of the board?
A motion that Kathy Connect serves as clerk of the board.
Okay, Mr. Jonigan has nominated Ms. Kathy Connect. I will second that. Discussion part of that. We're going to have a very big year, and I think Ms. Doan would do a great job. But I do like, I like Mrs. Connect for that job because of experience on the board as well as connection and help from the ASBA. So I would like that. Nothing personal, it's an experience thing for me, so. Any other comments or discussion to nominate Mrs. Connect for clerk of the board? Discussion, comment? All right, if we'll go ahead, and motion number 1 is there, nominate Kathy Connect to serve as board clerk for 2016 school year, calendar year, I apologize. Please cast your votes. Okay, 4-1, that passes. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Ms. Connect, for clerk of the board. And thank you, Mrs. Doan, for putting yourself out there. We appreciate it. And thank you, Mrs. Pangarelli,
problem.
for serving for the 2015 year.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the next item on the agenda. Discussion and consideration of dates and times and locations for regular board meetings for the 2016 school year. currently, as you're aware, because you're here now, we meet on Thursdays at 5 PM. It's the board's purview to change that time and date if so desired for whatever reason, conflicting with other meetings or other assignments. So our current board calendar is popping up on the TV screen for you, and if you're watching online, it'll be on your screen. These are if we don't change anything, these will be the dates for the upcoming 2016 calendar year. There are, of course, a couple of adjustments there for holidays as appropriate, but they would be at 5 o'clock as well as we're meeting right now. So as a board members, again, it's our complete purview to change dates and times as we so fit based on other commitments. Are there any desires, any changes you'd like to bring forth now to change the date and time? The location, of course, has to be here.
I would like to push it up a half hour, just to allow parents the more opportunity to come and address the board.
Do we have, would you like to make that as a motion?
I would like to make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second for Mrs. Pangarelli's motion to move the meetings the same days?
Same days.
You're just saying strictly the time difference?
Time.
All right, so from 5 to 5:30?
That's correct.
All right, just so Ms. McCarty can enter it in correctly. Do we have a second to move the meetings to the same day, the Thursday, but move it to 5:30 from 5 o'clock? Is there a second from the board? Okay. Is there a second from the board?
I'll second.
Second, okay. It's been moved and seconded by Mrs. Doan to propose a motion to move the meetings to 5:30 from 5 PM that they currently are, but the same day of the week.
Doesn't bother me.
Ms. McCarty is typing that up, and we'll have a chance to vote on that in just a second. I apologize. Is there any discussion on that? Well, that's discussion. Would you like to discuss that? No, I have none. Okay. And discussion?
No?
Any discussion?
In my tenure, we've had meetings that have started as late as, I think, 7 PM. And really, I've seen no difference in participation from parents, whether it's been 5, 5:30, or 7 PM. But I do believe that the earlier in the day, after the workday, that we can start, the easier it is for the employees here in the school district to make these meetings and get home at a reasonable hour to their families. And out of respect to them, unless there's some reason that we can't do 5 PM, I'd like to keep it at 5 PM.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion items, Mrs. Doan, from down there?
Me, really?
Okay. All right, good. All right, let's go ahead and put the vote then. You're voting to change the time to 5:30. So a yes vote is change time, no vote is to keep the time as the same as it is right now. Can we pull that up on the TV, the vote, please? Everybody vote. We are missing Mrs. Doan. There we go. Okay, so that does not pass 3-2, so we will keep the time at 5 o'clock right now, as stated for the calendar, or for the calendar year of 2000.
Mr. Bullock, you'll need a vote.
Vote on it.
To approve the,
Sure do. All right, that did not pass that motion, so let's move back to our original motion, which was to keep the times at 5 o'clock with the dates as specified.
actually, it hasn't been moved, but I will move to do that, to keep the calendar and at the 5 PM.
Great, and I'm
As
going to
presented.
second that, darn it. All right. All right, so a yes vote on this will keep the times as they are, and no vote against that.
Me one way or the next.
Okay, that passes 4-1. Majority rules on that one. We'll keep the times at 5 PM on Thursday nights. Thank you for your assistance, board members. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, always our favorite part of the night. Not that arguing about dates and times isn't exciting. Mrs. Airy, welcome. Thank you for being here, and Happy New Year.
Good evening. President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Santarelli, we have a very exciting recognition to share with you this evening. As you know, the Arizona State Board of Education adopted a new statewide achievement test in November of 2014 for Arizona students. You've heard to it referred time and time again as AZ Merit. This new assessment was given to students in grades 3 through high school for the first time in the spring of 2015. It replaced that previously administered Ames test, which we were all very familiar with. I'm pleased to share with you that Peoria Unified School District has an outstanding 295 students from across our district who received the highest possible score on one of the AZ Merit assessments, just one. Now, that's just an incredible achievement. However, I'm also very proud to tell you that we have 6 students in our district who received the highest possible score on both the AZ Merit English Language Arts and the mathematics assessment. So they scored almost perfect, though we can't call it perfect, the highest possible score attainable for those 2 tests. So those students deserve a huge round of applause. We thought this achievement was so exceptional that we invited them here this evening, and it's our pleasure to introduce them to you. So students, when you hear me call your name, if you would stand up and stay standing up while I call all of the other students, and then after that, I'm going to invite you up here shortly thereafter. But we will begin with Amanda Pace from Vistancia Elementary School. She's an 8th grader. We also have Ephraim Joel Esmus from Oasis Elementary School, a 5th grader. Riley Lawrence from Copperwood Elementary School, a 4th grader. Ashlyn Pace from Frontier Elementary School, a 4th grader. And as I understand it, I don't think any relation to Amanda, correct? Two Paces. And then Mallory Forsberg from Oakwood Elementary School, a 4th grader, and Peyton Dennis from Sunset Heights Elementary School, also a 4th grader. A big congratulations to these students. And students, at this time, I'm going to invite you to come stand up here with me for just a moment. So can you come stand up here with me? And I'm going to have you help me with something really quickly, okay? So, because there's a number of people that are in the audience here who we know give you all kinds of support all the time. They're your families, right? Your parents. So can you help lead us in a big round of applause for your families? We're going to ask them to stand up so we can clap for them, okay? So a big round of applause for all the families that support these students that have joined us this evening. And we also know you have some extra special principals, and you see your principal here this evening, so you think we should probably recognize them? Okay, so a big round of applause for Mrs. Jennifer Kasmar, principal at Vistancia Elementary School, and Dustin Hammond, the assistant principal. We're going to make you stand as well. Mrs. Gail Miller, principal at Oasis Elementary School. Dr. Michael Kruder, the principal, and Danielle Script, the assistant principal from Copperwood Elementary School. Principal Mrs. Lori Little, as well as assistant principal Tammy Moss from Frontier Elementary School. Sean Duguid, the principal of Oakwood Elementary School. And last but certainly not least, Mrs. Ray Connolly, our principal from Sunset Heights Elementary School. Now, principals, help me in one more big round of applause for these exceptional students. Now, students, our board members may have a question or two for you, so I'm going to stand up here with you to help lower the microphone, but if you would squeeze in a little closer over here for me, I'm going to ask Mr. Bullock if he has any questions for you.
We always have questions. And it's usually, as the year progresses, the questions get harder and harder. Like by the end of the year, it's like something to do with chemistry or biology, but we won't go there this time. The beginning of the year, we're very, very light. So, and parents also, and teachers and supporters, when we're done, we'll get out of your way, and we'll let the students come up, sit up here, or you stand up right here and take all the pictures that you want, and it's a nice little backdrop here, and we will get out of the way because we're not the nice backdrop. So, now, we all have questions for you, but I just want to start out real quick. I'm going to take President Purview here and say, do you know why, and you can all pick a representative amongst you to answer this question, do you know why you are the highlight of tonight? One of you has to answer the question. Choose wisely. No? Maybe someone could be voluntold by the president? No, actually, no, I'm not. Yeah, we'll get to all of you, but I know the Pace family personally, so I'm going to ask. Which Pace? Oh, sorry. Ashley Pace. All right, Ashley, you've been selected just because I know your family, sorry. Sometimes it's not good to know people. All right, Ashley, do you know why you are the highlight, you and the other students are the highlight tonight?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We got almost a perfect score on our AZ merit test.
Okay, yes, but no. Why does that matter? And, well, I'll tell you, and everybody ask your own questions, but this is why, no, and I say, yes, it is, but no, and I'll tell you why, and you'll agree with me when I say no. We, all of us, your parents, your teachers, your principals, board, we're all parents too. We have kids in Peoria School District, so we're the same as your parents here. Everything we do, everything a superintendent, everything our, everybody that works in the Peoria Unified School District, your teachers and everybody have one focus. And that focus is helping you to be successful so that you can be anything you want to be and be really good at it and make this country even better than it is right now. Everything we do, your full focus of parents, the full focus of teachers and principals is all to help you to be successful. That's why you're the highlight, because you are now coming back with all this success that you brought with your intelligence and your hard work and your honesty and how successful you're going to be. You not only make us look good, but you make us really, really proud to be part of Peoria School District. That's why we love you guys, and that's why we love what you've done, because you show that everything we do, all the hard work, and sometimes we bang heads, we get in arguments about money and stuff like that, but it's all worth it because of you standing there right now. And all of you, that's why you're the highlight tonight. Okay, so don't forget that. We appreciate that. Board members. Start over here. Questions, comments?
Oh, I want to say congratulations, and I know that was a lot of hard work, and I won't make any of you talk. But, sometimes it's a big, scary world out there, but a good education is a good, and I know you've heard this all from your parents, but it's a good start on a successful life. And I hope you all do well, continue in the coming years. And I really congratulate you, and I think that you did a fabulous job. Thank you very much.
Ms. Connect?
Yeah, I'll just congratulate you too. You know, this was the first time anybody's taken that test, and you guys hit it out of the ballpark. That is phenomenal. Congratulations, and thank you for all your hard work and making your teachers and your schools and your school district look so good.
Ms. Magrilli?
I also want to all of you, and then also to all of the parents. I know how difficult parenting is, and I won't make you answer questions as President Bullock. So let's see if Mr. Jonigan will put you on the spot.
But of course. I just have one simple question besides saying huge congratulations. I mean, I echo everything that was said up here. This is just a great way to start all that's happening in your education career. But just curious, did you take this test on a computer, or was it a paper and pencil type of test?
How about the second pace? Proceed forward.
Yeah, it was on paper and pencil that we took.
Fantastic. Anyone else, or that good? They're shy. All right, that's it.
They may be too smart for us, that's why.
That's very possible.
Those humans, I don't know if I
Very,
can
very
communicate with
possible.
them. I have one last question. Ephraim, step up, buddy. Now, you may know, how do I know him? Because I met Ephraim this past week, right? Ms. Powell Thompson went for a wonderful, so your principal is here too. What club are you a part of that I thought was just awesome?
I'm part of the chess club at our school, Oasis Elementary.
And how good is your school doing in just its very, very infancy of that club? You guys are just starting out. How good or how high are you ranked already?
We're at the top 7.
In what reach? Is it in Arizona? Is it Peoria? Where is that?
In the state.
Yeah, okay, they just started their chess club. They're already ranked 7th in the state in competition. That's amazing. That blew me away, so. And we talked about, do you remember we talked about why chess is so important in business? Do you remember me talking about that? You can say no. You do? Why is chess so important in the business world?
Because, like,
chess is all about strategy, and you
my
need
man.
strategy in the business world to succeed.
You are awesome. Strategy, right? I thought you were going to go, I have no idea. You remember that. We had a big talk about how chess is important because it helps teach strategy. And I use chess every day in my business. I know everyone else up here does too. Chess is used in business every day and how to strategize. So the fact that you're starting so early and the rest of your club mates there, I thought was awesome. So I told you I'd pick on you, and I did, but in a nice way. So thank you very much. I'll never pick on you again this semester. All right, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll get out of the way. Parents, please, principals, please come up and take all the pictures you'd like. Talk about paparazzi.
Red carpet.
You know what, but we're actually, if Miss Ari, just one more, if you don't mind. We always focus on the kids and how great they are. I want to bring up one parent to ask a question. So let's see. About Mallory's parents. Representative from Mallory's family, right? Come on up, we have a question. Go ahead, don't be shy, yes. Take control. Right? It's always, the kids are here, you're talking, you're texting, all of a sudden, please come to the front of the office. The reason I like to do this, and we like to do this, is because it takes a village. Granted, the parent obviously is the primary village, but it's all aspects of it. Tell us, as parents, as school board members, how we can replicate what these kids achieved. From a parent point of view, from a school, give us some wisdom and what helped make your kids successful.
I will tell you that we've gone to 2 different schools in the Peoria School District. And when we switched over to Oakwood, the sense of community that we felt at Oakwood, just because my kids have a certain teacher doesn't mean that's the only teacher they can go to. They really like they could talk to any teacher on campus and be able to get help from any teacher. The principal is always available to us. The assistant principal is always available to us. The sense of community it's the answer. There's so many parents that are involved. I know way more parents at this school than any other school I've participated in. The parents are so involved. And that's a huge part of it, is getting involved with the parents. I know that I don't know if every school in the Peoria School District does this, but they do the AR book program. And that is one thing for Mallory that she has really clung to. It has become a contest for her in her mind, to get these AR points, to read these books. And the books that she's reading, she's learning so much from them. And the reading that she does is incredible. And I think that's a huge help, is the opportunity that she is given to read, to have teachers available to her at all times, and just the sense of community at her school.
Thank you very much. That feels great, and thank you for letting me put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You never know. No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So one last round of applause, if we could, for these stellar kids. Mrs. Ari, is that it, or we have Dr. Santarelli, because the joy continues.
Thank you, Ms. Bullock. Certainly a tough act to follow there. I won't try. Congratulations to all these special students. But we do have a couple other things that I'd just like to call attention to. We, over the last couple of days, have recognized our top athletes. We had over 30 of our top volleyball girls in the day before yesterday, and today we had 60 of our top high school football athletes for our Peoria Unified School District recognition. Well attended, well supported by parents, and certainly those young people are incredible. Also, I'd like to extend appreciation to our community for continuing to support our efforts in the collection of tax credits, and certainly a special thank you to Mrs. Airy and Mrs. Dunsey and the public relations staff. On the last day of the year, they were once again out here collecting and making available to our parents and community members an opportunity to donate through the tax credit campaign. And on the last day of the year, December 31st, we were able to, through their efforts and the support of our community, gather over $17,000 in just one day in tax credits for extracurricular activities for our students. So hats off to those who helped make that happen, and certainly to our public relations staff.
All right, thank you very much. Anything else, Ms. Airy? This is the best part of the meeting. All right, we'll move on to our other items. Next item on the agenda is our board recognitions, and this would be a good time without being noticed. If you want to leave, you're okay. we won't take it personal. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thanks, Riley, for doing the Pledge of Allegiance. That certainly thins the ranks. And then there was three, yes. Ephraim, keep up the good job on the chess club, buddy. Sorry. Keep up the good job, man. Now would be a good time for people in the back to move up. Mr. Savoy, do you want to lead the charge? All right. Board recognitions. It's a chance for board members to discuss anything that they have had opportunity to participate in. We've had quite a break since our last board meeting through the holidays. Anything that happened? We'll start, Ms. Pangarelli. Any recognitions? No. Okay, Mr. John again. Ms. Doan?
Actually, yes. Mr. Cagle arranged for me to visit Santa Fe, and Mr. Miller showed me around, and especially, well, I wanted to go see the little ones before Christmas, and we didn't make that. I was like, it was going to be a Christmas bonus for me, you know, to visit the kindergarten and first grade and stuff, but we didn't make it. So we just went this last week, and he showed me a lot about the Spanish immersion, which I had not visited before. And I actually know a young lady that is in that course, and I knew she could speak Spanish, but I didn't realize she was in the Spanish immersion. I thought they were just doing Spanish at school, you know. But going through there and seeing and listening to the conversation, and the children actually, you know, learning science in Spanish. And they're not graded on their Spanish, they're only graded on the science. And I was dumbfounded. I was amazed. And I've always known, I mean, it's common knowledge that the younger you teach a child another language, the easier it is for them to get it. But I just want to say that is an outstanding program. And those kids look like they're doing a really good job. The teachers and all, it was an eye-opener for me, and I really, really enjoyed that visit, so shout out to them.
Good, thank you. Ms. Connect?
Thank you, sir. Dr. Santarelli mentioned the recognitions for the athletes, and I have the privilege of attending both the volleyball recognition and the football recognition. And I will just say that Mr. Sievertson, I'm saying that right, did an excellent job hosting that event. And what I was really impressed by is not only do these athletes get recognized for their ability on the court or on the field, but, excuse me, the leadership of their teams get up and talk about their leadership roles. They have an opportunity to speak in public, which we know is a critical skill for their development in careers. And the highlight of both of those events was a celebration of the academic achievement of some of the athletes. And so that really ties in to what we're all about here in the Peoria School District. So it was a very feel-good event, and I hope that the students who participated felt as good as the grown-ups in the room, because it was really lovely. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, today I took part in the City of Peoria's inaugural Unity Walk, which it was kind of a small-scale MLK walk. It started over by Ira Murphy, and students from Ira Murphy and from Altaloma and Peoria High School participated in that. And they had a guest speaker. Her name is Linda Blackman Lowry, and she has she's distinguished in that she was the youngest person to partake in the March on Selma. She actually had her 15th birthday during one of the marches. And she was imprisoned some 9 times, I think she said, during the civil rights movement. I have to say, our students, there was not a peep being made. We were outside at the amphitheater of the city, and this speaker, who must be, don't quote me, but if she was 15 then, she has to be what, in her 70s, right? So, and she had those kids wrapped around her finger. And she left them all with 2 important action items. She said, 1, never ever use the N-word. And 2, do not let your opportunity and your responsibility to vote go unanswered. Good. It was very powerful, and I was pleased to be there and very pleased to see our students represent.
Awesome. Thank you. I have one recognition. I had my thank you to Mrs. Pallas Thompson for taking me out to the Centennial High School cluster. And not only, we always talk about whenever we go to school tours, how it really makes it all worth it. Yes, being a parent, of course, there's the selfish aspect, I guess, that we like, we're in it because we want to make our kids better too. But every school we went to, there was a contingency of students waiting outside for us. It was raining the whole day. They're out there in the rain waiting for us, Student Council, National Junior Honor Society, all waiting there, extended handshake, a welcome, very professional, handed a card, walked us into the boardroom, sat us down, made themselves available to answer questions. I mean, that was exciting. That was just cool. Can I use that term? We had, Mrs. Pallas Thompson and I'm going to speak for you. It was a really genuinely good day. It's one of those days you just need. Sometimes you get so busy doing your job and you kind of get caught in the muck, and every once in a while you need a day where it's like, gosh, that's why I do what I do. That's what makes it all worth it. That gives me hope for the future. It was a fantastic day, and we're going out again tomorrow for the next cluster, but I just want to, it really made my week, because those kids, I know they're representative, it wasn't just those 5 or 6 that met us at every school, but those schools are so intent on bucking public perception of public schools going down and political problems and funding and budgets and all that kind of stuff. All of those schools said, who really cares? Vistancia, I recognize you too. You do the same thing. I visited your school last year, but it is, no matter what's going on, they don't care. They are making things happen. The successes, you saw successes tonight, but the successes are in so many aspects, so many elements of each school. It really was a day I needed. So thank you, because the rest of the week, it was just, I just had everything bounced off me because I just felt really good. And I appreciate that opportunity. That's one of the joys. Again, you can go tour, anybody can go tour a school. But it's one of the definite bonuses of being on the school board to be able to be toured around and have that kind of opportunity to have the kids impress you. And boy, some of the intelligence and the answers they gave me. I gave them hard questions. I didn't give them softball questions. I talked about being active in politics. What do they know about state budget? What would they do? Here's one question I gave them. I said, if you were board president for the day, you know about budget problems, and you had to cut one program, what program would you cut from your school? And every one of their jaws just dropped going, and I said, that's what it's like. That's why it's important you get involved. You register to vote. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Get involved. Educate your neighbors. Educate your friends on the importance of education for everybody's sake. And they all realized that we had no idea how hard it is to make those decisions, to cut, to have to trim somewhere, and to have to sacrifice things that we all love. And again, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So I'll be quiet now, and we'll move on to the next. Well, I don't care. That was awesome. That's awesome. They're awesome. I don't care what anybody says about me. They're awesome. Next item on the agenda, number 10, a request to address a governing board regarding matters not included on the agenda. Mrs. McCarty, do we have any speakers tonight? We do not. Again, this is an opportunity, those watching out in Etherland, we encourage you to come talk about anything on your mind. You will give us some good ideas, I guarantee it. Number 11 is address agenda and consider adoption or recommended changes. This is the chance for us board members, if we want to rearrange the agenda at all for time or expediency, or to help somebody out who wants to needs to move on to another item, we can do so. So do we have any changes to tonight's agenda?
No, sir.
No? Okay, we'll proceed as stated in the agenda. Next item, number 12, presentation on the implementation of all-day kindergarten. Hey, I was just talking about you, Mrs. Linda Powles-Thompson, welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you, President Bullock, Dr. Santarelli, members of the governing board, council, and my colleagues in the back. Oh, good, it's up there. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I know that's not the agenda item, but it was pretty powerful, and I do look forward again to tomorrow. And I was glad the student understood and answered your question, because he did remember it. I'm delighted to talk about the implementation of free all-day kindergarten. It's really exciting. Hard to believe, at least for me, that I was a kindergarten teacher. Kind of scary. I have the utmost respect for kindergarten teachers. All I really needed to know, I learned in kindergarten, according to Robert Fulghum in 1990. It had to do with share everything, play fair, don't hit, clean up your own mess, wash your hands before you eat, take a nap every afternoon, and when you go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. And our kindergarten teachers still do that, and then everything else. And I have respect for all of our teachers, but as a kindergarten teacher, I know I couldn't do it again, mostly because I can't get down onto the ground and then back up again as often as they do, and they're extraordinary. Kindergarten through the years, in 2007 to 2009, it was paid for by the state, that full-day program, and we had an all-day program there and an optional half-day. And then in 2010-16, because the funding was removed, we had to go to a half-day program, as some of you were there and had to make that hard decision. And we offered an optional kindergarten academy that was paid for by our parents, and that's still in place right now. But due to the work and your foresight and your decisions and our community, we will be having, and it's paid by our local taxpayers, a full-day program starting for the 16-17 school year, and we are so excited about starting it. We so need it, and thank you, each of you, because it's powerful, needed, and it helps create some of those students that you saw tonight. And again, our parents, a couple of them have already called and said, well, could you do the half day? I'm not ready to send my child all day, and yes, they can make that option. Several things we have to do to implement is, number one, is to look and review and revise our curriculum. When we had a half-day program, as we were looking at it, the morning was predominantly the half-day, 2.5 hours. We did our English language arts program and our math, and then 2.5 hours with kindergarten. By the time you get them in their seats and out of their seats and do that curriculum, they pretty much were ready to go home on a half-day program. Our academy, which was the afternoon, allowed them to do their lunch, to do arts, music, their PE time, and then extensions and remediation. So it was kind of a divided program in half. With a full-day program now, we're very excited because we have the opportunity, and curriculum's been working. They've been anticipating the ability to, again, integrate and align our curriculum. Our science and social studies was put into the language and the math. It has its own opportunities now to grow with a lot of hands-on kind of work in sciences. All of our children have art, the music, the PE, and mostly they'll have time for the extensions, the remediation, and the time to go back to Fulghum to be a kid, to have that opportunity to go outside, to play in the playground, to learn how to hold hands, to learn how to share, and to learn this thing called school. And I don't think anyone does that better than us in the state. We're pretty powerful. We know kindergarten. Our second thing that we're doing to implement is to secure our rooms and resources. We have preschools that might have to do a little bit of movement. We expect that we'll need to open up a couple classrooms that haven't been kindergarten, not that many, but some, and to get our resources for the types of things that are needed in a kindergarten room, so that when you come to visit, you'll see they're stocked and ready to go, and we're moving on that. Our third is We have to attract additional teachers, not only at the kindergarten level, but because we have art, music, and PE for all of our students in kindergarten now, we're going to need across the board probably 3 FTEs that are a little more art, a little more music in each of our campuses. So we're ready, we're able, we're willing, and we're going. We have our teams at the district and our teams in the school, and we're pretty excited. Everybody is very delighted to have this opportunity to offer for all of our students. And then probably one of our biggest campaigns we're working on now is to do our publicizing and promoting. And I would say marketing, but marketing suggests we have to put something together to create, to present an item. Our marketing, as Gandhi said, my name is my message. My life is my message. The work we do does not need marketing, but it does need to be publicized and promoted, and that's what we're working on right now. We have Kindergarten Connection that each school is going to be doing at least 2 days, kind of like our patron tours for our kindergartners. Students are going to be at each school. We'll be getting the dates on Tuesday from each of our sites when students are going to come in with their parents. They're going to go to an art class and a music class, a PE class, walk through the cafeteria, probably get a cookie or something healthier. Then see a bus, get a look on it, have the same opportunities, and then parents will hear about what this thing is, what they're doing in kindergarten, see what they need to do over the summer. We have some opportunities to do a jump start. At some of our schools are interested, so we might have regional jump starts to get our kids ready for kindergarten if parents want that. Very excited about those opportunities. PR has done an amazing job with each of those. And what is this, a class of 2029 coming? So it's wow, it's pretty powerful, this group. We have ongoing registration, and I say ongoing as of today. We're getting calls from parents, and it's, we have it online, our websites. Parents are able to bring down registration, so it's not just 1 time or 2 times during the year. We're ready to go right now for them to register, and everybody's in place for that. We have parent packets, and Dr. Pischke from our early childhood department has been able to, again, secure a book for each entering kindergartner to take home, and so they're getting their first school book about kindergarten that they're taking with them. Parents will have parent packets on what to expect, and I know Lori Little's there. She has put together some amazing work with other principals on the types of things parents can do, because they want to know what should I do this summer to get my child ready. And they're their children's first and best teachers, so we're comfortable they will work in partnership with us. Every child deserves a champion. This is one of Rita Pearson's lines. You have been the champions for our children by getting out there, getting our PAC teams and our people ready to have the money to support something that is critical. Again, I don't think anyone does it better than PUSD, and now we have the opportunity to do it not just for 60% of our children, but for every single one of our children who wants to be there all day. I'm delighted, and I'm especially delighted because that munchkin at the bottom is mine. So we're ready to go, and thank you the community for all your foresight in having us do this free all-day kindergarten again. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Ms. Powles-Thompson. Starting on my left, questions?
Oh, well, I'd like to say the munchkin is very beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
But I just want to make sure I understand that with the revised kindergarten curriculum, you're still doing, like if they want to do a half day, it'll be morning and they'll have the regular, like now.
Correct,
And
Mrs.
then-
Dunn.
Okay.
Our teachers will have to adjust. I believe our schools all believe that it's the best opportunity for our children to be all day, but certainly we trust parents to make those decisions about their students. So our teachers were able to do it before.
Right.
And yes, we'll be comfortable doing that.
Thank you.
My question, Ms. Thompson, is related to napping. And I would hope, I'm not the expert, so I'm not going to make a prescription, but I would hope that our experts in early childhood education were on top of the medical and developmental needs of the youngest children. And if one of the things that they need is time to take a little snooze after lunch, that they are given that opportunity to do it. my kids are grown now, but I do remember mine that was in half-day kindergarten came home after lunch and took a snooze every day because she needed it. And I recognize that maybe some kids don't need that, but I certainly think it's to their academic benefit and their health benefit that if they do, they have the opportunity to have that.
Mrs. Connect, that's a great question. Yes, I don't know that we have a nap area, but we have quiet areas and opportunities for our children. The thing about Peoria, again, is we meet the needs of all of our individual students. And certainly, if there's a child that needs to naps, I would love it to be Charlie. It never happens. But if it did, absolutely, they need that time to come down. The all-day gives us that opportunity to let a student be quiet. And certainly, the first month of school, when we go in and see classes, we'll see a little one just kind of sitting there, and we let them rest. So thank you.
Thank you, really. John again?
I just want to echo your earlier comments that it's exciting to see the fruit of the labor over the last 6, 9, whatever months it's been, finally coming to fruition. We're actually putting the rubber to the road. We're seeing programs getting put in place. And for me personally, and I know everyone else here, it's truly exciting to see that go into place. I know we talked a little bit about it in the presentation, and I can't go back to it, but what kind of projected increase are we looking at, or do we think is reasonable, and is there any kind of a built-in cushion in case we get a larger than anticipated onslaught to add an extra class here or there? Is that built in as well?
Thank you, that's a great question. When we start staffing and looking, we typically look at our kindergarten as the same kind of number as we have this year. Do we expect that there will be an increase with free kindergarten? Probably yes. Looks like, and we didn't keep the numbers, it was hard to really check. There'll probably be an additional 100 students that we think across the district will start joining. Approximately 60% of our kids were there full day and could afford it. It started at 70, it wavered between 50 and 60 that can ultimately pay. We're ready for it. As we do our hiring, we're certainly, HR is doing a great job at attracting, retaining, recruiting, and we're keeping our eyes open for our best candidates. I think we'll be right on point with it. We project pretty well.
And again, I like Mrs. Connect said, I'm not the expert by any means, but I do realize that at that age it is so critical to get them immersed into the basics, especially around the reading and the comprehension, and hope that if there's an opportunity to expand a little bit upon that now that we've got a full day, I would love to see that that's considered, because again, that is just so foundational to everything that they continue to learn throughout the rest of their career.
Thank you. You're correct. And I know Dr. Pischke, with the really successful award-winning school the work that she does in our preschool, this allows for a wonderful vertical discussion between what they are doing, what our COOP program is doing, all the way into our first, second, third. Thank you.
2 quick questions for you that I've heard, and they're diametrically opposed. First question is, will full-day kindergarten be available at every elementary school?
Good question. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's confirmed.
Yes.
Second question I've heard, and it won't surprise you, why do we need full-day kindergarten? How would I answer that question? I know it's a long answer, but what's my short answer that I give people? Say, why do we need full-day kindergarten? Why is our tax money going to that? And you've heard it too, but I just want that for the record so we can move forward with that.
Mr. Bullock, I'm sure that there's probably a much better educational answer that I'm going to give. I think, in my experience in 40 years, the world has changed so much that our children don't have as many opportunities to interact socially with other students. You know, there was a time when our neighborhoods allowed us to go in the backyard and the kids would play, and they learned those skills that are so critical. The all-day opportunity, it's not just the academics, which are critical and will give us opportunity to extend and expand and enrich, but that social aspect, that affective piece, we need the day for our children to, once they wake up, as Mrs. Connect said, from their nap, to see that other child that they can go in a play area and work with and problem solve, and they need that time. 2.5 hours does not give them that opportunity. So I think with the world changing, it's a safe place for them to learn, to grow, and then to play in a all-day situation to get them ready for first grade and the rigor that they're going to need to be successful.
Good, and thank you for that answer, let me, thank you for letting me put you on the spot, but I know you'd answer it, but
You'll pay for it tomorrow.
Of course I will. But that's an important question, because that came up during the election, and it comes up even now, is why do we? And I never even thought about that aspect, because unfortunately, I'm a tech geek by trade, we're raising screen kids. Everything's on a screen now, and there's so little interaction, so I never even thought about, that's an awesome point, that we still need, we want people to grow up in the class of 2029, we want them to have amazing public speaking and social skills, not just digital skills.
Great,
So
thank you.
great point. Thank you for answering that.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, great. Good night.
Okay, next item on the agenda is number 13, presentation and consideration of approval of external research request. I'm not going to read the whole thing, as it's up there. And we welcome Mrs. Davy. Thank you for being here, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Good evening, President Bullock, Governing Board, Dr. Santarelli, and guests. This evening, I am presenting a research request from Corey Montano in completion of her doctorate from the University of Arizona. The purpose of this study will be to examine whether function-based intervention concepts and strategies can be applied to classroom teachers in order to improve treatment integrity of function-based intervention plans. So I'm going to reword that a little bit differently. The research focuses on integrating the classroom teacher in the development of classroom interventions to make the interventions applied and used with more fidelity. So in other words, these function-based assessments and plans, the teacher comes in, the classroom teacher comes in and is integrated in helping develop it. So then there's that buy-in and commitment into making sure that they're applied and they're used with fidelity, making the child more successful. So it's a process that currently goes on. It's just making the classroom teacher have more parts in it. The sampling and methodology that is used in this study are in line with best practices of this type of behavioral research and have been reviewed by the special ed administration, our K-12 administration, as well as our executive administration, as well as our department. Corey is with us this evening, and I'm going to ask her in a minute to join me at the podium to take any questions that you have. And Corey, would you like to come up? Thank you.
Bear down, right?
Yes.
I'm going to start first, if you don't mind. This will come out correctly when I'm done saying it. I work in the technology world, and I hear all the time our clients, and they tell me, hey, Matt, speak English. Because we'll start talking about gigabyte, megabyte, throughput, bandwidth, server rendering, and like, what? How does that make me money? That's what our clients will ask us, basically. So I'm going to ask you the same thing. Ms. Davy did a great job of paraphrasing, but speak English to me. We see these reports all the time. No, I'm excited for you, don't get me wrong, but I want to understand it. I think I read through it, and I get the gist of it, but speak English to me and tell me, what does this really do for the future of education in a tech guy's understanding?
Okay. President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Santarelli, thank you for the question. Essentially, the layman's term is that right now we are supporting our students who have some behavioral difficulties. We develop plans to help them make better choices, have more appropriate behaviors. Unfortunately, we don't always implement them the way that they were written. So sometimes there are components that are missed or forgotten, and this, I'm hoping, just by adding a few questions to the process that includes the general education teacher, I'm hoping that it will make it more likely that the teacher will follow that plan with the fidelity, so the way that it was written.
Now, the plan, is that something that look like an IEP that's written for a student? The teacher has to follow that unless there's a reason not to follow that. That's because it becomes a binding document between a parent, a counselor, and of course, the teacher and the student, of course. How does your research will end up doing what to make the student better? How will you're saying you're asking some more questions to understand more to help a teacher. Why wouldn't a teacher follow it? And how will your eventual research and answers and your surmising have teachers go, oh, okay, now I either buy into it or I'll do a better job?
Right, thank you. So I don't think any teacher is maliciously or has malintent to not follow it, but oftentimes there's an aspect to it that doesn't meet their needs. So for example, by asking a couple additional questions, we might find that a teacher is motivated, and by, let me give an example. So by having a connection with a student. And so if the plan as it's written actually has the student checking in with someone else, so perhaps another support on the campus, and not having that teacher who actually probably would like to have the opportunity to check in with that student and build that rapport, we can adjust that intervention plan so that now the teacher has that opportunity, is building that rapport, can help that student be more successful. The plan, if not implemented with fidelity, it's kind of like taking medicine only once in a while and not as prescribed.
Okay.
It might work, but it's not going to do what it really could if you were to use it the way that it was intended.
Okay, thank you for doing that, and thanks for breaking it down. Last question then, and I always ask the same question every time. How will it benefit PUSD, and when your final project is done, will we have access to the data to try and make our schools better?
I think it will benefit all of our students who are receiving those supports, because right now, if they are unable to be successful with the supports that are in place, they are oftentimes considered for more restrictive placements, so don't have the opportunity to be in a Peoria Unified School District school and are in placements that are outside of that. Some of them absolutely need those supports, and it's an appropriate thing for some students, but I do think that we'd be able to increase the amount of students that we'd be able to keep on their home schools and in our public schools.
Yeah, and that'd be a big benefit. Thank you. I appreciate you going into depth for me. Other questions? Mrs. Doan, Mrs. Connect, Angarelli, Mr. Johnigan? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Johnigan.
Just one question that I like to ask, and it doesn't sound like this will be a major impact, but just extra workload for any teachers that would be involved. They've got a lot on their plate. We recognize that, and I just hate to add any extra that, of any substance. So can you just make me feel warm and fuzzy about not having a lot of extra work added to anybody?
Yes, I assume it will take about 10 to 15 more minutes of their time, and it's really just the questioning. There's not going to be anything different, and I'm hoping that because I will be, making sure that it first meets the student needs, but second the teacher needs, that they would be happy to give up that 10 to 15 minutes to make it more functional for them.
Okay, thank you.
Questions or discussion? All right, thank you for that, and thank you, Ms. Davy. This is an action item. We need a motion and a second to move this to a vote to have it move forward or not move forward.
Mr. Bullock, I
Yep.
move to approve the external research study.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Mrs. Connect, seconded by Mr. Johnigan to approve the research study as stated. Please cast your vote. All right, thank you very much. We look forward to the results, because anything we can do to move the needle just even 1% in our district, we'd love to see the answers and the research that comes of that. So thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda. Oh, boy, did we just have a legislative session just start?
It's just
Dr.
this week,
Santarelli?
Mr. Bullock.
What do you got for us,
Hey,
sir?
thank you very much. We're off and running.
Hold on to your hat.
Hold on to your hat is correct. As you know, the legislative session started on Monday, started with the State of the State from the governor. I've provided you a hard copy for those of you who didn't have opportunity to see it at the dais there for you. So the governor outlined his agenda for the year, and some of that did spill over into education. Most probably prominent in that discussion was the support for Prop 123, which you're all very familiar with, and certainly urged the support of that, and talked about his plan on how he is planning on helping support education, although the details were a little bit lacking at that time. We have a number of bills that are already being circulated that are kicking off. We've had some change in the leadership on the Education Committee, at least on one side of the aisle. And let me just run through 5 in particular that will be heard by committee next week. House Bill 2056 is an opt-out provision for parents regarding state assessment. There is a repeal of the JTED funding, which is 2057, which we certainly want to continue to stay close of. As you know, the reduction in JTED funding is significant, and there is a bill that will be heard to repeal that. There's House Bill 2065, which is going to require all schools to conduct vision screening. Each and every year, you may be aware that by law we have to conduct hearing screenings, and now there's a rider to that would require schools to do vision screening. There's also a bill, House Bill 2108, which is a follow-up to something that got lots of discussion last year, which would require a CPR instruction in our high schools. And so we'll certainly continue to watch those. There's a bevy of other ones that just got dropped today that I haven't had a chance to take a look at. We will continue to interact and monitor and report back to the board some critical dates. Just as a reminder, the last day to hear bills is February 19th in the House, and certainly on the opposite side, it's March 18th. So you've got a month time there, and the last day for conference committee is April 15th. And so things start to ratchet up rather quickly here as we get through the month of January. So with that, that's all I have regarding the legislative session. And stand for any questions or comments from the board.
Mr. Bullock?
Let's connect.
Dr. Santarelli, for those who might be listening or watching, or people that we engage with in the community, how do you best recommend to individuals that they monitor what's going on at the state level? And that would be one part. How do you monitor it, and how do you weigh in on it?
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. Ms. Connect, the legislature has made it fairly easy to monitor the bills that are in progress, to track where they are in the process, because, as you know, it is a lengthy process at times, and also to weigh in. And you can get on the website and follow the steps in order to provide you information on the bills and their tracking. And they actually have a bill tracker that you can log into and either track it specifically by topic or by a bill. And then in addition to that, you can also provide feedback to your local elected legislators on any given item, and it's relatively easy once you get into the system and do that. Of course, if you're more interested in being engaged, you can certainly go down there and speak at the committees, and there's a way to do that too that's relatively easy once you learn to navigate that. And if anybody's interested and has questions about that or gets hung up, we can certainly help through our public relations department. I know ASBA has a wonderful link that helps a community follow that process, as does ASA. I will say that there are a number of bills that are particularly important to schools this year. One is the current year funding bill that got passed last year and has some pretty significant side effects that is supposed to go into effect next year. But that's certainly one that we'd like to see changed one way or another, along with the JTED funding bill. Those are two that are top of mind for a lot of us. And one of the things that is interesting to me, and as you know, I routinely try to provide feedback throughout the process. The governor and leadership have continued to talk about removing regulation. And by removing regulation, the notion that we then can focus more dollars into the classroom, which we're all about. And so sometimes it's interesting, we watch the number of bills that get dropped that actually don't remove regulation. They add in just the ones I mentioned to you, requiring vision, requiring CPR, requiring some of those things. Although they may be well-intended and good ideas, they're without resources and require time and effort and energy that does not go directly into the classroom. And so I'm very supportive of trying to remove some of the regulatory things that have minimal impact, if any, on what we really do with teaching and learning. And I will take every opportunity to remind those in those positions that every time they add something to the plate and don't take something off, it does contribute to taking dollars out of the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Santarelli. If I was in the legislature, I would put a bill together that would say that a bill can't pass until it's properly funded. Just crazy, I know. All right, move on. I'm usurping some control there. On to our next item, number 15, is request for agenda items for future governing board meetings. A chance for us board members to put something on the docket for a future board meeting. All right, nothing. We'll move on to the next item. We have our consideration approval of the consent agenda. I would like to pull our donation report, which is 19C. But other than that, I would entertain moving forward besides that. Any other items to pull? Items to pull? Okay. Then I will move that we approve the consent agenda as stated with the removal of the donations report.
I'll second that.
Okay. Can we allocate budget for that light up there?
I know.
That's freaking my head out. Okay, it's gone. Thank you. Whoever turned it off, thank you.
Magic.
It's subliminal. It's trying to drive. It's, oh, you're trying to drive me out, aren't you? All right, there we go. Please cast your votes, members. Misconnect, is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Passes 5-0. Okay, move on to the next agenda item, which is 20C, the donations report. If you don't mind pulling that up real quick. As I always say, and I mean it sincerely, we appreciate every dollar that comes into the district, because that's a dollar that someone has donated to us to help a program, help a specific school. It doesn't matter. We'll take dollars, we'll take $10, we'll take $100,000, we'll take anything we can get. We appreciate it, and it always goes to good use. And the nice thing about donations, you can peg it or attach it to whatever you want. If you want to help the band at Oakwood, donate a check to help the band at Oakwood. We'll gladly accept it. On the, we have three that I want to bring to our attention. On the first page, $1,800 from APS. It's a STEM mini grant for Altaloma Elementary. On that same page, we have a $5,000 donation from the DBACS Foundation to Kachina Elementary for special education's bikes for autistic students. I think that's original and that's awesome. And then right below it, which is extremely greatly appreciated, there's some good English for you, $12,000 from Lowe's Home Improvement for seating area and planters and entrance of campus at Liberty High School and their special needs program and seating area for students. So $12,000, we greatly appreciate Lowe's for donating all the equipment and time that they do. So again, I would encourage you to look through that donation report. There's 2 nice pages that add up to quite a nice chunk of change to help directly the students. We appreciate that in our schools. All right, so having pulled it, I will move that we approve the donation reports 20C as stated. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Please cast your votes. We all approve money. Good. Move on to the next item, 21, our budget facilities planning construction report. If we pull that up, we'll do a quick walk through this. Again, all these reports are available in the board packet online in a convenient PDF format. You can get it on any device you'd like and review it at your leisure. The nice thing about this report is it shows where the money is going to directly repair, enhance, and make our schools more secure. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at what's happening at a school near you. And actually, if you look down the bond purchase summary, which is the next page, it actually goes through dollar for dollar, penny for penny. Let's be honest there. Exactly where every penny of our bond from 2012 is going. There should be no doubt where it's being spent and how it's benefiting our schools structurally, air conditioning, roofing, roofs, stuff like that. Did I just make up a word, roofing? I just did. Coin it. Next item on the agenda, number 22, report on upcoming meetings and events. Beginning of a new calendar year, so a lot of good things to plan on your calendar if your time permits. Zoom in that a couple times, thank you. Spelling bee, yes, just January 22nd. What's that? Yeah, January 22nd. I would highly encourage you to go. You were impressed tonight with the kids that did, almost perfect scores or highest scores. Wait till you see the kids that perform in the spelling bee contests. It will make you shirk because they can spell words that we can't as adults. And I don't bring that back up. And then March 3rd, if you want to warm your heart. I was talking before, Ms. Thompson and I went out to some of the schools. I've got Mr. Keegle, Mr. Savoy as well, and Ms. Bridgewater. They're always great events, but you want to warm your heart, go to a patriotic speech contest. You ever think there's problems in our country? Yeah, there are. But you want to see who's going to be the future of our country, who's going to make sure to ensure our liberties, the ones who really care and understand what it's like to have a free country and the sacrifice and benefits. Put that on your calendar now. It's 2 months out. I'd highly encourage you to go to at least one session. You will walk away feeling 5 feet off the ground. You'll walk that high. It is more than worth your time. Call in sick if you have to. It's worth it. Right, next item on the agenda is board member opportunity to readdress agenda items. Again, this is a chance for board members to go back in time for tonight and pull up any item they'd like to readdress or talk about. Any items tonight, board members?
Yeah, I want to talk about that donation of the hats and scarves for the homeless. I thought that was awesome.
Okay,
Just to mention it.
Want to go back?
No,
Who
I just
donated?
wanted to mention it.
Who donated it?
I don't remember the name. We could go back and look at that.
Well, hold on. I will second you on that. I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. Hats and scarves. And it is, okay, there we go. It was Fairway Center Knitters, hand-knitted hats, scarves, and wraps for PUSD Title I homeless education distributed to homeless students. That is.
That's
Thank
really
you for bringing that
awesome.
up. That is, right, and that's people, donating money is wonderful. Donating a handcrafted good that you do yourself is amazing. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that, and I apologize for not noticing that.
Mr. Bullock, if I could request the board go back to upcoming meetings and
Oh,
events.
you bet.
I just wanted to get confirmation from, I think, Mr. Hancock. Did he step out? Okay. I believe we have confirmation on the meeting on the 21st at 4 o'clock regarding the process and timeline. So we have confirmation January 21st at 4 p.m. here at the district
Wonderful.
office.
Thank you for reaching out after hours to do that, Mr. Hancock. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that. And, oh, I thought Mr. Key, there he is. Mr. Hancock, we were just celebrating you. Excellent.
First, 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you for taking care of that so quickly. We appreciate that. All right, next item on the agenda. Unfortunately, I know it's our first meeting of the year. We kind of want to do it again, but it's time to go home. So anyway, I will now entertain motions to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Right, it's moved and seconded. Please cast your vote. That was too quick, yes. All right, we pass to go home. Thank you very much for being here. Drive safe. We'll see you later. I'll make sure to click end meeting, Ms. McCarty, this time. So we're not stuck in a vortex.